Hey guys, I'm Alan with Mr. Z's Music Lessons. Today we're going to be doing a lead guitar tutorial over As You Find Me by Hillsong UNITED. So if you'll check in the description of the video, I'll have a link to a tab down there that you can print off and follow along with. I'll also have the tab running across the top of the screen for you guys. And we'll just start off kind of talking about the tone. So we're in the key of D, and for the tone of this, basically you want a lot of reverb for this very first part, which is, we don't come in until verse 1. So we'll have a lot of reverb with a really high mix, basically to where you can't even hardly hear your picking. So like no attack hardly at all. And I guess besides that, just using your neck pickup just to kind of round it out a little bit. So we're going to start off barring across the 14th fret of the G, B, and E strings. And then we'll put our middle finger on the 15th fret of the B string. So we're just playing like a D chord up here. And what this tone sounds like, kind of sounds like this. And basically we're just going to play that exact same chord all the way through verse 1. Okay, so I won't play the whole thing for you or anything, but we're just playing 30-second notes, just alternating back and forth, tremolo picking. So we kind of swell into it. So we swell in on beat 3. So it's like 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So you get the idea of that. You just keep holding that exact same thing. Just keep strumming it all the way through verse 1. And what I'm using to get that tone is a Strymon Blue Sky pedal. So I'll have that linked in the description if you want to check it out. It's really good for kind of getting different sort of ambient tones like that. So you can check it out if you want to. And that's it for verse 1. Then we'll go ahead and go over verse 2. And I forgot to mention that I did make a cover video of me playing the electric guitar part, all the way through the song. So if you guys want to check that out, I'll link in the description and also at the top of the screen. So verse 2 is pretty similar. We're just going to start off on that same chord, that D chord, and we'll kind of swell into it again. So we'll do that for 7 measures. And then after we've done that for 7 measures, we're going to come down and we'll bar across our 7th fret of the G, B, and E strings, and then we'll put our pinky on the 10th fret of the E string. And we'll just strum this one for 1 measure, still doing 30-second notes. So I'll play that for you. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then after we've done that for 1 measure, we'll keep that bar there, and then we'll put our 3rd finger on the 9th fret of the E string, and then our pinky on the 10th fret of the B string, and we'll strum this one for 2 beats. 1, 2. Then we'll go back up to our D chord for 2 more beats. 3, 4. So basically for verse 2, we're just switching between that D shape, and down here 7, 7, and 10, and then our 7, 10, and 9. And that's it for verse 2. Then we'll go over the pre-chorus, and for this part we'll be using those same 3 shapes that we did on verse 2. This part's not too terribly long or anything, so I will go ahead and play through this whole part for you. So we're going to rest for 4 measures. Then after we've rested for 4 measures, we'll swell into our D chord. So I'll play all the way through it for you. So it goes 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then down. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's all you'll play for the pre-chorus. Then we'll go over chorus 1, and for this part we will rest for 6 measures. Then after we've rested, we'll come down to our 7th fret of the G, B, and E string, so we're barred across there again, and then our pinky will be on the 10th fret of the E string. And we're still using that same tone again, just lots of reverb and everything. So yeah, just this kind of alternate voicing of that D chord. So I'll go ahead and play through that for you. So we'll probably swell in again on beat 3. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Just stay there. 1, 2, 3, 4. And there on beat 3, if you notice, I just strummed once and kind of let it ring out for those last 2 beats of the measure there. So that's it for chorus 1. Then we'll go over instrumental 1, and for this part I'm going to change my tone a little bit. So I'm going to back off on the reverb, and then I'll put a little bit more attack with my compressor, and then also I'm going to switch to the middle pickup on my guitar, just to give the guitar a little bit more presence. So for this part, we're going to start on the 3rd fret of the B string with that 2nd finger. Then we'll use the first finger on the second fret of the B string, then the third finger on the fourth fret of the G, then first finger on the second fret of the G, then we'll go to the fourth fret of the D string with the third finger, and then the second fret of the D string with the first finger. And basically it just repeats again. So I'll go ahead and play through that instrumental one time for you. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's it for instrumental 1, and then right after that we'll go into verse 3. And for verse 3, all we're going to do is we'll rest for 6 measures. Then after that, we're going to come up to that high D chord and just go back to your kind of other tone that we were using, that more ambient sound. And just play that chord all the way through verse 3. So that's all you'll do there. Okay, so that wraps it up for the instrumental and also verse 3. Then we'll go over chorus 2, and for this part, we're going to rest for 4 measures. And then after that, we'll play our D shape that's down here on the 7, 7, and 10. And again, we're going to go back to that more ambient tone with lots of reverb. And I'll just play through this part for you guys because we've already used all these chord shapes before. So we'll swell in on beat 3. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. You guys can just use the tab to help you on that one, but yeah, it's basically just switching back and forth between this D shape, and then where I have my pinky on the 9th fret of the E string, and then my, third finger on the 9th fret of the E string, and then my pinky on the 10th fret of the B string. So switching back and forth between those two shapes. And that's it for chorus 2. Then for the tag, here's where we kind of get to ditch that ambient tone. So here it's just more overdriven and pretty high gain. And I'm going to go ahead and switch to my bridge pickup for this part. And we're going to be playing octaves, just kind of moving around through this part. So we're going to be on the 4th fret of the D string with our first finger and the 7th fret of the B string with that pinky. So we'll play that shape 4 times, and we're strumming 8th notes here. So we have 1 and 2 and we'll go up 1 fret to 5 and 8, 3 and 4 and up to 7 and 10 for 3 beats. 1 and 2 and 3 and then back to 5 and 8 for 4 and. Okay, so we're going to do that same thing 4 times. And I think from here I'll just kind of play through the whole tag just so you can hear it. So it does that same thing 4 times, and then the second time you'll notice instead of going up to that 7 and 10, it comes down to 4 and 7. So I'll just play through that for you. 1, 2, 3, 4. Starts out the same way. And back to 4 and 7. And up to 7 and 10. We'll do this pattern 4 times. Third time. Last time. That's it for the tag. Then we'll go over the bridge, and for this part we're going to stay with that kind of high gain tone with using the bridge pickup. And this part's pretty long, so I think what I'm going to do is just play through it for you guys, and I'll try to go under tempo a little bit just so it makes it a little easier to follow. And I'll have that tab, of course, running across the screen for you. So I'll start you off at least with this first chord shape that we'll do. So we'll put our first finger on the 4th fret of the D string, our third finger on the 7th fret of the G string, and our pinky on the 7th fret of the B string. So that's our first shape, and we're going to start off with 16th notes. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's it for the bridge, and also watching that cover video can kind of help you with that. And don't forget that YouTube also has a like slow down tempo function, so you can use that if you're using the YouTube app. I think that's really helpful for practicing along with. So that's it for the bridge. Then we'll go over instrumental 2. So for this part, we're going to go ahead and kind of back our reverb off again and go back to that just kind of a regular clean tone. And we're going to start on the 7th fret of the D string with our 3rd finger. Then we'll come up to the 5th fret of the B string with the 1st finger, 7th fret of the B string, then back to the 7th fret of the G. So it sounds like this. And after that, we'll hit the 5th fret of the D string. Sorry, and then the 4th fret of the D string, then the 7th fret of the A string, and then the 5th fret of the A string. Okay, so that first line sounds like this. 1, 2, 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's what the first line sounds like. And then the second line, and I think in the cover video I messed the rhythm of this up a little bit, but I'll try to get it right here. So we'll hit the 7th fret of the D string, then the 5th fret of the E string, then the 8th fret of the B. We'll kind of hold that for a second, and then we'll slide down to the 7th fret of the B, and then we'll pull off to the 5th fret of the B. So that rhythm of that would be like 1, 2. Then we'll end on the 7th fret of the D string. So there, one more time. 1, 2. Then the next part, we'll just hit the 7th fret of the D string, 5th fret of the D, 7th fret of the G, then the 5th fret of the D again, and then the 4th fret of the D string. Then that last 7th fret that you see there is kind of more of a pickup to the outro part, so we won't really go over that, but we'll go over that here in just a minute. Let me go ahead and play through that entire instrumental 2 for you so you can hear it. So that first note comes in on the last 16th note of beat 2. So we'll go 1, 2. 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's it for instrumental 2. Sorry, it's kind of hard to play that and talk at the same time, but that's what it sounds like. Then we'll go over the outro. And again, for this part, we're just going to keep using that clean tone with lighter reverb. And for this, we're going to put our first finger on the 5th fret of the E string, then we'll put our ring finger on the 7th fret of the D string, and our pinky on the 7th fret of the G string. And our picking pattern, we're going to go D, G, D, G, D, and then E. pattern. Then for our last pattern, we're going to put our middle finger on the 6th fret of the G string. We'll lift that pinky up, play the same picking pattern just one time. Then we'll go back to the one we started with. So I'm going to go ahead and play through this whole intro for you. We'll do this 8 times. So I guess I'll go ahead and play all 8 for you. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Fourth time. Fifth time. Sixth time. Seventh time. Last time. And then we'll end on the 7th fret of the G string. Okay guys, that's going to wrap it up for this tutorial. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope that this video helps you learn the song. Let me know down in the comments if you guys have any questions or anything. I'd love to hear from you. Also, I'm trying out a new mic, so let me know if you guys like the way that this sounds better, or if you like the other way that I mic'd it better. I like the way this sounds a little bit better. I don't know if I like the way it looks or not, but just let me know. You guys probably don't care, but if you do, just let me know down in the comments. Well, thanks again, guys. I will see you in the next one.